Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hippie Speedball Podcast. It is Joe, your host with the most Joe, but today I'm actually sipping on a little bit of water. Last time it was whiskey. Today it was water. You know, sometimes you got to pull back on the caffeine. I've had quite a few cups, but my coffee cups normally are provided by Happy Cannabis. I'm going to go run and grab one real quick, just because you guys see the logo from these amazing people. Thank you, Happy Cannabis, for normally providing these coffee mugs. I surely do love them. Anyway, today on the Hippie Speedball Podcast, I'm actually finishing out Women's Month with one of my favorite guests that I've ever had on the show. She's been supporting it since day one, and she's been throwing the name out there, and her support means a ton to me. So please welcome back Patience Kaufman to the studio. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back through. And by the way, I can't get enough of your shirt. Like, it is so amazing. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We've been binging on a lot of Lion King
movies
lately. Yeah, for sure. So what you been up to? How's business been going? You know, now that things are kind of slowing down, you know, things are kind of opening back up, you know, things are kind of like, I don't know, slowly kind of gearing in the different direction right now. How are things kind of going with your business? And for people that haven't seen the first episode, go check it out. She owns, tell people what your business is again.
I own Bite Me Cookies and Treats. I'm the owner. I consider myself a cake artist and baker because I really love the art aspect of it. Yeah, but business for me, so I did better last year than I did the year before. So I still took that as a win, even with COVID. Mm-hmm. But I was running myself to the ground. So I kind of I was talking to Shelby a little bit. But yeah, about refocusing on what I want my business to be. So we're still busy, but we're going to be doing more classes and trying to teach other people how to get into their own baking experience. And I think it'll be better for my time and you know,
yeah, definitely,
my business and my family. So
well, that's a smart approach. That's very smart to actually go into what made you decide to want to start doing baking classes?
Well, I love to teach already. I love kids. I do it with my kids all the time, and I've had people ask me, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then honestly, one of these women I'm in a group with, we just support each other, you know, business wise and emotionally, mentally, whatever. We're just all gung-ho for each other. She asked me, do you make money off your cookies? And I was like, yeah. She's like, do you profit off of them? And I was like, not really. And I'm expensive, I guess, in some people's eyes already for cookies. So that kind of, you know, it made me think about things, how much time I put into things that don't actually...
Kind of just rethinking your different revenue streams that you can kind of pull in.
Yeah, because I love being creative, but I got to do it in ways that also
can keep you going.
Yeah. And I can still be there for my family too.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great balance that you're able to find, you know, because it's really, it's really hard to be able to make a living and be there for your family, you know, because I mean, I've had jobs that I've lost because I couldn't find childcare. And that was something that just really would have, you know, been amazing, you know, and that's kind of something, a big, you know, inspiration to want to do this podcast full time is to be able to spend as much time with my family as possible, you know? And so it's I go do the episode and then, get to make your own schedule and, you know, do all the different stuff that is involved with that sort of business, but you're still able to be home, you know, just go to the studio and then you can just come right the fuck back home.
Or if they need you for something.
Exactly. You can be there. Yeah. And it's really hard to do that. And also when you're working for somebody else, like we talked about in the first episode, you know, it's they're kind of determining how much time you can spend with your family. And I'm not okay with that. You know, it's kind of a weird thing, you know. Before we actually get too into this, I also want to give Shelby a little shout out over here. He's back he's over on camera. I accidentally made the mistake saying he was off camera and I totally forgot there was a tiny little camera. Both me and JJ.
Cameraman needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Got to show some love.
JJ's reaction to the size of the camera was hilarious.
Wasn't that amazing? Shout out to JJ. What a fun episode. Did you check that one out?
No, I need to catch up.
It is.
I like to binge. I tend to binge them in sections.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. I totally like that. Yeah. That's awesome. So I see my views go up at some point. That must be you. I just see all of my views just randomly skyrocket all of a sudden.
I'm like, I gotta get into this.
Yeah, this one we had, you know, didn't actually drink any coffee. We just sipped some whiskey and went through our top 5 movies to watch while you're stoned.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and so we each came with our top 5.
One,
it is such a fun fucking episode. I can't wait to have JJ back on. And that's a good transition because one thing I wanted to say is a big thank you for all your support that you've had on the show. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. Me and Shelby see what you're sharing. We see your reactions and stuff like that. And it really means a lot to us. So thank you so much.
I like what you're doing. I like that you're making cannabis a positive thing and you're connecting people with it. And you're saying normal people smoke, and we have lives, and we're also fucking awesome.
Right. We're pretty okay. You
Yeah,
know, we're pretty great.
We're finding
we're pretty great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to us because ultimately that's what we want to do with the show, you know, because coffee and weed is just, it's one of those things. It's kind of a social thing in itself. You know, it's something that you're doing while you're doing nothing. And it's really something that you kind of like, you're sitting around with a group of people, just having a cup of coffee, or you're smoking a joint together, you know, smoking a bowl or something like that. And it's where really good conversations and really great ideas can really come. And so I figure, why not just record those conversations with really dope ass people?
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that you see that, because some people have a hard time kind of seeing like, well, why are you doing this exactly? It's just like, well, you'll see.
Yeah,
It's like
why
when you
not?
see
Why
all these
not
different
connect with people?
Yeah.
I think that's important shit. So.
Exactly. And your support of Women's Month too meant a lot to me too, because having the all female guest and then finishing it off with you back on the show is fucking awesome. That's why I'm really excited to have you back on. And one thing that you wanted to talk about on the show was you've done a little bit of traveling recently.
Yes.
Evolving your business, I'm guessing. And so tell us where you went. Tell us all about it.
I went to Seattle. It was called the Olive in Seattle, and it's a little cute studio in downtown.
Nice.
I fucking love Seattle because
it's a fun city.
It's awesome.
I haven't been in a while, but it's fun.
It reminds me of Portland in a lot of ways, and then it's like way different because it's a slanted, I feel like biker love city, and there's like so much graph art down there that's just gorgeous. But
Seattle's a very rock and roll city.
It's fucking awesome.
There's a lot of rock energy in Seattle still.
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, exactly. That grunge element is still there. I love it.
Yeah, I went there to make a cake. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
No, it's okay.
Love Seattle.
It's okay.
But I've been trying to travel more to do cake art because I want to be known for, you know, doing things differently. So I traveled there to do a boho shoot. Is that what it's? Yeah, boho styled.
What's that?
Shoot. It's kind of got like a lacy feel, neutral tones, very earthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
And so I did this green, kind of awkward shaped cake that was over a foot tall, and I used sugar sheets, which is paper that you can print edible images on. But I cut those up and I airbrushed them and I made them look like leaves, and
that's cool.
Just made something different.
Did you have any pictures of it?
Yes.
All right, can we pull one up real quick? And we'll pop one up.
Pop it up right here.
Right about there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Shelby. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That is freaking awesome. I can't wait to see that. And so what I mean, like, how do you think that really benefited your business getting this travel? Did you make some good connections while you're down there? Did you do a lot of networking?
Yeah. And I feel like it feeds the heart of what my business is.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a good
I
way
want
to
be
put
creative and artsy and outside of the box, and you know, people will get to see this, and hopefully it gets published, and
that is fucking awesome.
They'll be like, I want a cake that is like that. It's not a traditional, you know, white wedding cake. It's green and it's over a foot tall, and I still think it's beautiful.
Hell yeah. If you don't mind me asking, did you get paid to do this? Was it like a paid gig?
Yes, I did. Well, so we do these really to support each other. So sometimes I don't get paid, and I'm okay with that. I open a spot once a month just to work with other creatives.
Nice.
And I'm not really... Well, because everyone's putting in their time too. So it's really not like, did you get paid for this? Because they're like putting in.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
You're putting in your time right now. You know?
Definitely.
We're all people. We all deserve money for our time. So when people spend their time to do something, that's like a payment in itself. But I
like that you see it that way.
Yeah. That you need space for everything. But yeah, I did get paid just to travel down there because I drove the hours to get there, and she appreciated me, and I fucking loved that because it was like, oh, you see how hard this is.
That's so cool.
You see what I'm doing.
That is
so
awesome.
it felt good.
That is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, and that's so important. One of the reasons I asked is because it's really important to like invest in yourself when you're trying to grow something, you know, and like, you know, being able to go out there and network and do everything like that. Like, one thing I really want to do is I want to take the podcast on the road. You know, it's like I want to go because I'm meeting so many different people from all these different states in the podcasting and the weed community that I'm just like meeting with, chit-chatting with, and they're like, hey, if you ever find yourself over here, you got a place to smoke up, you know. It's like, so I got peeps in like Alaska, Florida, fucking Missouri, Texas, New Jersey, Philadelphia. Like, I got all these peeps all over the place, and so I want to freaking, you know, get to know all these people. So I want to take the show on the road, and I love that people like you want to, like, you know, like people like us like want to invest in that, and it's so important, and more people need to do that, because people like, if they're not making a shitload of money from it, they're like, well, I'm not going to do it. It's like, but dude, think of the experience you're going to have, the people you're going to meet, the networking is going to pay for itself. You know?
And in business, you can just focus on profits if that's your main goal. But if you want to be happy with the business you own, you want to like your customers, you want to feel respected. Like, this is not the age of, hey, you know, we work for the customer. This is like, no, we work for ourselves. We value ourselves. So if you chase like things that feed the heart of your business, like I want to be creative, I'm going to work with the other amazing creatives.
Yeah.
And I'm going to expand that way. It doesn't matter if
For sure.
There's eventually going to be a paycheck because these creatives are amazing people and they're getting paid thousands to do what they do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. And like,
that's not,
it's like, and
There's
also
more to
you're building a good karma within your own community, you know, because then
well, you
whenever,
gotta do that.
exactly. It's like we were talking about before we started recording. I mean, like, when you're, you know, kind of moving up in something, it's so important to have your foot down so you can pull another person up, you know, and then if you're able to pull each other up and be able to do this, it's like fucking super beneficial and it's really, really important, you know.
Well, and to even see that you can't do everything by yourself.
Yes, exactly.
So like, hey, we're a village or we're a community of people with like minds. We're going to keep building.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And it's like, that's when, like, you know, like speaking of taking a village, like Shelby over here creating these beautiful images and doing all this amazing editing, you know, he's freaking phenomenal. And
video work is... That's like, nope, I can't do that.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of
super fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and I love that I have somebody that enjoys it so
great.
much on my side.
See,
because
that's why you need connections. I have fun doing art. You have fun doing that. I get I get stressed out doing
exactly.
editing.
And it's
but
like
some people, it's beauty too.
Yeah,
you get to sit there
peaceful.
and just.
I can put my headphones on and
Zen.
just there's so many different possibilities that I can come up with.
it's very zen,
Yeah.
like we were
It's very
saying.
zen,
Yeah,
That's freaking awesome.
hell yeah, that's fucking great. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, it's God, I totally forgotten where I was going to go with this. What were we just talking about beforehand? Before I mentioned Shelby, taking a village. So like that's one thing that, you know, I like that it transitioned from my show to our show. You know, it's because it takes a team, it takes a village. If you look at some of the most successful podcasts, there's people off screen that are really working magic you have no fucking idea about. You know, and now we got Shelby on screen right here in this tiny beautiful little camera.
The adorable little
camera. Oh, you could.
Exactly. Also, I want to give a little shout out to this t-shirt I'm wearing. You can find these purple Kush shirts online at the link down below. I really like it. It's modeled after one of my favorite rock bands of all time, Kiss. And so I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your trip. So what else did you do while you were down there? I mean, up there in Seattle. What's your favorite thing to do while you're up there?
We were only up there for like the day.
And it was mostly all work?
Yeah. And then food, get a drink while you're there.
Of course.
I love Seattle, and then we just walk around and look at stuff.
Hell yeah. Have you ever been to the EMP in Seattle?
I don't know.
The Experience Music Project?
The mod? I've been to the Museum of Music.
Is that what it's called now?
I don't know.
It used to be called the EMP, the Experience Music Project. It's like it's connected to the Sci-Fi Museum.
Shit.
It's probably the
By
same
the Glass
one.
Museum too?
Maybe. I don't know.
It probably is.
Can you look that up for me, bro?
I went
You said-
there.
You said EMP, right?
Yeah, EMP Seattle.
Okay, I'll check it out right now.
So there's a dope ass music museum. It's probably the same one. It's the one where they have like the giant tornado of guitars in there.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same one. Yeah.
Yes. And I got a purple
Museum
haze
of Pop Culture.
drink.
Museum of Pop Culture. That's what. Okay, that's what
Yes.
it's called now. Okay, I didn't know that they changed the name of it, but that place is so fucking cool. I really, really love that place. Me and my homeboy got like super lit down in Seattle, and we walked inside there and did everything. And I was just like, I was in heaven because I was like a giant. I'm a huge a music geek, and so like, you know, I'm a musician. I've been playing for a long time, and so especially rock music. And they had, you know, the original contract that Nirvana signed from Sub Pop.
I went the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so it was the same exact museum.
And Jimmy.
Yeah, and they have the giant Hendrix museum, like, and all of his guitars are in there, and they have a fucking.
I took pictures of like every little thing. I was like, I want to remember
this. I know, same here. I have so many
a
pictures in
tape.
storage from the EMP, and also
It's
they
like
have Richie Valence's guitar. And Richie Valance was a 1950s rockabilly guy, and he was the one that died with Buddy Holly in the Big Bopper in that plane crash. Like, yeah, they lost all three rock stars in one plane crash.
Yeah.
It's like imagine if, like, you know, fucking three of the most famous rappers all died at the same time, you know, like in the same one. And it was crazy. And he was only 17 years old. Like, but they were considering him to be like the next Elvis because his music was so fucking good. He was a really phenomenal guitar player. And but his guitar and his little like poncho he would wear on stage is there because he was a Hispanic musician. So he played. He was the one that made La Bamba famous.
Oh.
Yeah, the song La Bamba, like that was Richie, or the song like the one's like Oh Donna, that song. That's Richie Valens. A lot of people don't know that, but he died in that plane crash. But they have his shit in there, and they also have oh my god, what you call it? Queensryche's like stage stuff. They have like their drum set and like the fucking like this coat that Jeff Tate used to wear. Do you like Queensryche? You're a big metal fan, aren't you?
Not super big.
Oh, okay. What kind of music do you like?
Well, it depends on which time of my life.
That's a really great fucking answer.
That's probably one of the best answers I've ever heard.
Me
like
too.
everything.
Seriously, that is a really great fucking answer. So, what are you listening to right now? So let's say
Probably
you're
lovey stuff.
Lovey
And
stuff.
Sublime.
I love
like old school underground when it's all.
Hell yeah, I love Sublime. I can't get enough of Sublime.
Yeah.
Sublime was just playing earlier, actually. Before you came over, that's fucking awesome. So you want to get into the edible game?
Dude, yes, I would love to. I would love to take that avenue because I feel like, I don't know, it's a lot easier to track how much you're smoking or, you know, you're intaking, and it's probably better than smoking. And
for the people listening / watching, you should let them know that, like, you know, she totally held up to her end of the deal and the promise on the last episode. She brought us some edibles and she made, you
donated.
know, we
I didn't sell them.
No, not sell. Of course. She
them.
donated them to the Hippie Speedball podcast, and they even had little coffee beans in there, which was very, very nice little touch.
Yeah.
Did you eat all yours?
I haven't ate any of it.
You haven't ate any of it?
No, because if I eat an edible, I won't be functional later today, and I have a Nerf gun war birthday party to go to. So
it's only 50.
It's only 50.
And it's 67.
Really?
CBD.
Only on 50?
50 milligrams. It depends on like what oils in it or like how they made it. Usually 50 milligrams can either be like the perfect level, or I just want to go lay in bed and not do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
I can eat like 150
I can smoke lots of weed.
feel.
I can take lots of dabs. As soon as I start eating edibles, my tolerance goes right out the door.
Everyone's
So since
different.
we're on the subject of
See,
edibles,
if I dab, I'm like, okay, I can nap. I don't even dab. I don't dab that often.
I don't
like
really
flour.
dab a lot. Like, yeah, I like flour too.
I like the taste of flour, but I do dab.
If I take a dab, I get fucked up. Like,
Yeah, I want to go to bed.
That's how I get
That's
like
just
that,
the end
like
of it.
that, you know, like that first time stoned again is when I take a dab because like I don't really dab hardly ever.
That's how I get
got a
on
little more
edibles. It's
juice.
first time stun.
Oh,
That's when
really?
that's when I feel really baked. If I smoke or I
Your
take
heart's-
acid, I don't feel too bad. Yeah, I have to switch to manual breathing and everything. I'm like,
I know, right? It's
Oh
like
my
that,
god!
like that Nick Swartzen joke where he's like, yeah, that inner monologue that's like, just breathe, man.
I had to
You're
call out of
okay.
work one time because my friend's man made me these, or not made me, but gave me a Rice Krispie that he made, and he's like, "You eat edibles?" I was like, "Yeah. This is fine." He's like, "Okay, take it easy." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna do what I want because I'm stubborn." Ate the whole thing. You know, like 4 hours before I was supposed to go to work, I thought I'd be fun. I'm like, I don't know.
That is
I
fucking
can't go to
great.
work.
I was like, I'm glad you fucking said that because I was going to say we should all tell a really good edible story. So I'm glad you. No, that's awesome. I'm really glad you naturally transitioned right into it. That was fucking perfect. What you telling me a good edible story, bud?
oh man. At the shop I used to work at, we sold fatty taffies, and they were 250 milligrams of THC. Which is quite a bit for me if 50 isn't that much. And I was like, I'm
That's
going to
a
try
lot
it.
for
I
me.
got to try it. And it was indica because I don't do well with sativas in the first place. So I definitely don't want to have a sativa edible.
Yeah.
So it's pretty late at night. I am at my friend's house. I eat the edible, and then I go take a shower. And about halfway through the shower, I got the shampoo in my hair and everything. I am now really high. And
The shower
it's
does it.
not good. And I have to lean against the wall in the shower to get all the shampoo out of my hair. And then I have to sit on like the edge of the bathtub to dry myself off. I'm just internally like, dude, you got to make it out of this bathroom. You have
out
to
of the
dry
shower.
off. You have to dry off, put some clothes on, and make it out of here.
That is fucking
And
awesome.
I like stumbled down the hallway to the living room. I was sleeping on his couch while I was there and just instantly passed out right away. Just dropped to the couch, fell asleep.
Oh shit, man.
And that probably ruined it for you too. You're like, I don't know about edibles.
I definitely don't try to go over 100 milligrams unless I'm at my house doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
There was this one time, it was actually that guy that I smoked the very first plus 30% THC weed with. Because so it was like back in like 2011, 2012. And this was before they really even had weed that was that high, because they had people from like medical programs or medical growers from other states trying to like recruit him as a grower because of the weed that he was able to produce. And so one time that guy made edibles for us, and he made these cookies. And I can't remember how much he said, but he said he put like a lot of fucking weed in the cookies. I think he said like the whole batch was made with like a couple ounces or something like that. Like it was really, really yeah. It was a
what
very,
I'm thinking
very
then we
butter.
probably don't like wait. We didn't. I don't know. In 2011, I didn't know.
No, I didn't know how many
much,
milligrams it was or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were just kind of like, okay, these are really fucking strong. Okay, I just got to pace myself, you know? And so he didn't really fully tell us like how strong they were until after we ate them, because we were like, we were sitting there eating them, and then he got up, and then he was like gone for a minute. And so we were like, fuck it. We just kept eating them. We ended up eating like 2 or 3 of these cookies.
Oh.
Like, and so he was like, we came back, and then he was like,
they were delicious.
Yeah, they were
That's
tasty.
The bad.
Exactly. And then he came back, and he was looking for them. He's like, where'd those cookies go? And we were like, we ate them. He's like, you ate all of them? We were like, why? And then he told us like how strong they were, and he was like, dude, you guys are gonna get fucked up, man. He's like, I hope you guys are ready to fucking go home, because like you guys are gonna, it's gonna take a minute. Dude, I got so high, like I felt like I was lifted out of my body for like most of the day, like, but only like about like a half an inch, you know, like it wasn't like I was floating, but like my body was just a little elevated. And then I remember what was really funny is at the time I was living with my mom, and she was like very, very anti-pot. And so I remember the very next day, TMI, I had to use the bathroom, and then the bathroom smelled like bong hits, like 100% smelled like I was smoking in the bathroom. And she was like, did you smoke weed in my bathroom? I was like, no. I was just like, I did not actually. And I was like, I never even thought about that. And one time it happened to my sister, but she was at work, and she worked at a daycare.
Oh,
And I was like, I didn't even think that was actually a thing. So people that eat edibles and have to do things the next day, be careful. Like
maybe if it's like flour form too, or
Yeah.
like how you eat it.
One time when we used to work at the pizza shop, I remember
didn't
one
think
time
of
I fucking took some edibles, and I came to work, and I was fucking lit. That was a fun shift.
I didn't even like smoking before work ever. I was like, I don't want them to know I'm a
Gizmo?
stoner. But
Oh, he's already there. All right, fuck it. He belongs
That's
to
his
the
spot,
window now. Yeah,
the cats need the windows.
exactly.
They
He's
have to see.
He's the
things.
studio cat, you know. We were talking about whenever we eventually have a studio, I'm gonna have like a little cat door in every single entrance, so he can just roam about and do his thing, and then have like a cat tree somewhere, so he can just kind of come to the studio, be like, "All right, Gizmo, hop in. Let's go record. Come
Get
to the
shelves
session."
for him. Yeah, get little shelves for him to like sit on. Or
That's what I mean. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he likes to be high up. And he also likes to look outside too. So I'll get like a nice little window up at the very, very top and do it. But yeah, he'll definitely make his mark in every single time. So do you plan on doing more traveling?
I do.
So what's your plans for traveling to do more with your business? What would you eventually like? What's your kind of like dream business trip for your cake business?
I don't know. Maybe somewhere out of country, honestly. But
Ooh.
yeah, I think traveling would benefit me more than anything.
You should go to like
Because I
Italy
can learn
or
so
like
much
Sicily
from it.
or something like that, and learn how to make
Yeah.
like some dope like cannolis and like learn
The real thing.
yeah, learn how to make some really good sweets, or go to fucking like Germany and like take like some good like chocolate courses and stuff like that, because I used to work if you ever want really good chocolate or really good like candies and stuff like that, have you ever heard of Chocosphere? That you would actually love them. I'd have to look them up and make sure that they're still in business. Can you Google them for me? They're called
Chocosphere?
Yeah, Chocosphere, just like how you think it would be spelled. And Chocosphere, yeah. And so, but they're a couple, and they own this like this shipping company, and it's all chocolates from all over the world, and none of it is Nestle, none of it is Hershey's, like none of it is any of that.
Can you order it
Yeah.
just to like make your own chocolates?
Yeah. They have like bakers like chocolates and stuff like that. Yeah, they have 100% cocoa you can get all the way up to, they have 100 all the way down to like 20. you know, and so they have all the different ranges, and it's from all over the fucking world. And I used to work in a repackaging at that warehouse, and it was one of the fucking, pun intended, sweetest jobs I've ever had in my entire life, because it was really awesome. I remember my very first day, she made me try a piece of 100% chocolate, and it was this tiny little bar. And then this one girl was like, "Do you even want him to come back?" It's like, have you ever tried 100% chocolate?
No, I've heard
like
about
bitter,
it.
unsweetened,
Good, right?
Yeah,
or
100% unsweetened cocoa.
Yeah,
it is.
It's like eating
terrible.
a spoonful of cinnamon if you do it in like powder form.
Yeah, basically, and it was fucking awful. Are they still around?
Is it based on Tualatin?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
My sister's mom brought back Mexican chocolate.
Oh
for
yeah,
her,
yeah.
And
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like smelling it, just everything she brought back. I was smelling it, and I was like, oh my god.
See, that stuff's all right. Like that, like the I think it's called like tapaz, like TAPAZ or TOPAZ, like topaz or TAPAZ.
Well, even like at the grocery store, if you buy it,
mm-hmm.
like compared to what she brought fresh was so different.
Yeah, it's way different, and that's all they have. Like, is like in like all their tapas chocolate was all written in Spanish. All of their French chocolate was written in French. Like, I remember that's when I found out that the best chocolate, in my opinion, is dark chocolate from Madagascar. Like, holy shit. It was like this 60% chocolate.
Taking notes.
It was, check them out. But the reason I brought them up is because they're a small business and they're a family run business. And like, it's just this couple that
totally
like works
get all
there.
my chocolate from them now.
They're fucking
spend
awesome.
Hundreds on
I used
chocolate.
to take pictures like when I was doing repackaging, because I used to have like these 60-pound boxes of like chocolate chips that I would have to convert. And it was all done in kilos too, because they would ship to all like from all over the world. Yeah. And so it was always done in keys, and always made me sound like I was like repackaging Coke. They'd be like, all right, so I have this 60% Colombian that I need. Like, it always made me feel like I was repackaging drugs, especially when they would throw the percentages and where it was from. They'd be like, I got 60% Colombian over here. I got this 90% Peruvian.
Did they make you take off all your clothes before you came into work to make sure you're not stealing anything?
That'd be so funny. Dude, so
I always wanted a sticker that says I'm not a drug dealer, I'm a baker. Because like I always like
you need to put that on a shirt. You should just put that on a fucking shirt. You could sell the shit out of those. That would be a great fucking shirt, and you can just promote them on your freaking stuff. I'm not a drug dealer, I'm a baker.
You weigh everything, you cut things, you
could
do
put it
all
like
kinds of
you could
stuff.
put it on like one of those scales. Like, I'm not a drug dealer, I'm a baker, and the baker one weighs heavier than the other one.
So funny.
That would be a sweet logo.
Still making my own money.
People podcast.
Yeah, I'll put the little logo under that part.
There you go, right? And then I'm gonna put your logo on the freaking on the thumbnail for this, because I love your freaking Bite Me Cookies and Treats logo. That's awesome. How did you come up with the name, by the way?
I don't know. Maybe being done with people and shit and wanting to do my own thing.
Well, yeah, given the
Bite me.
Yeah, well, also given the situation,
I can do it with love still.
Yeah, and given the situation of when you started it, you know, it freaking, you know, just kind of boomed up, because it was kind of cool watching your progress, because like, I mean, it was really cool watching your progress, but the reason like I was saying that is because like it when I first was off social media, like I was like on it a couple years ago, right? And that was when you first started doing it. You were like, hey, if I were to start this cake business, what would people think of it? You were like, would you guys be interested in buying this? And I saw a bunch of people like, yes, definitely, sell your work. And then you had just started the Facebook page. Like at that time, and then I had gotten off social media for a long time, and then when I got back on, I'm seeing like, boom, you're still fucking going, and I see all this growth and progress. I'm like, oh shit, that's so cool. Yay. Like, you know, and then like that is so cool to see. And I have a handful of people that I've seen that happen, like my homeboy Nico from high school. He started a pressure washing business, and he fucking started really booming up with that, and I'm super proud of him. I know he listens, so shout out to Nico. He just reached out to me recently.
Yeah, I think we're the generation just kind of have to do things for ourselves.
I think so too. Like, it's weird how we're in this weird like block of like, our age group is in like this block of people that kind of like, just, I don't know, we see all the holes in the way the system was really working for our parents and our relatives, and we're like, fuck, I don't want that. You know, it's like, so we're kind of,
we were drilled into like, you know, education and work hard and do this and you'll be successful. And there's so many fucking people. It's like, oh,
yeah,
you have to stand out still. And most people have 2 jobs, or they have side hustles, or
exactly. Or like, I mean, if you're not like, you know, either like affluent, or if you're not in a position to where you will stand out, whether it be on status or money, then you have a way harder time. on even like standing up above the curve. So you have to kind of like think outside the box.
You definitely have to think outside of the box.
Mm-hmm. And that's like a big approach that I think you should have, like, with everything, like because if you're following the same path, like it's really hard to fucking, make yourself stand out because all the footprints look the same. I like to look at it this way. It's like, imagine you're like walking in like the snow and you have like the ice that's like frozen over it, right? Where you have to kind of like stomp on it to really walk through it,
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're walking in the same paths as people, like, you could still trip on their footsteps because, like, you're stepping in the same spot, but you can still get nudged over here, and it might be easier to put your foot down, but you're still going to trip over
that
here.
metaphor.
But if you're going to walk in this path, sometimes it's actually way easier to just make your own, but you might have to put a little bit more pressure down. You know what I mean? It's like, it might take a little bit more effort, but it's going to be easier when you're actually going down this way.
Because it fits your foot.
Exactly.
It fits your
It's your
pace.
path.
Yes.
It's your path.
Yes.
It's not another path. You're not going to have to mold it to another one and then trip over that little block of ice.
That's how business is too.
Exactly.
You got to
Exactly.
build what works for you.
And that's why I like your approach of what you're doing. Like, you're like during, like, you said that 2020 was amazing for you when other businesses
well, it was shit, but I think I look at it differently than most people.
Yeah, I mean, I know
think when
it was...
I say amazing, people are like, how?
Well, it's because but you also like grew and like mentally and economically and in your business wise, and you had to like really think because we were talking about in the first episode, you got to a point where you're doing all these new things. So whenever it was back to business as usual, you're like, oh shit, I can just do that in my sleep. And now I have all these new things that I'm learning and doing, and you're growing, your mind and everything. And like we were talking about before we started the podcast, of using your phone for good and using it for the computer in your pocket that it actually fucking is.
Yeah.
It can be because my rabbit holes is YouTube. Like with a lot of people's, it's like, different social media things. It might be Instagram. Lately, I've been scrolling on Instagram more because I'm learning more about it and stuff, and trying to gain the following and everything. But YouTube is where my rabbit holes really go. Like, I have a reminder that goes off on my phone saying, "Hey, you've been watching this for like 20 minutes, homeboy." It's just like, you need to get off. But it's like, but I'm not done with this podcast, or I'm not done with this, this little educational video of this crime that I had no idea committed, but I need to learn about it.
The girl who does makeup and tells stories. I don't even watch people doing makeup because I don't do my makeup really. But I've watched so many of her videos.
Oh, really?
Because it's just like, okay.
Ones that I can't get enough of are like the ones that were like in prison and they really changed their lives around. Aww. And they're trying to like get people to not go down that path, and they're all like hard motherfuckers. It all started with Big Herc. Like, Big Herc was this guy that fucking had this YouTube channel, and he was like, in my opinion, one of the real first ones to start it. And then there's this guy named Wes Watson who was on Big Herc's channel, and then there's this guy named Death who has this one channel called Lockdown 23 and 1. And all these dudes had long prison sentences. I mean, they all served, between 5 to 20 years between all of them, and so they had really long stints in there. And they like really are trying to get people to not go down that path and be like, yo, man, that's not for you. Don't do this. Like, and like, I really love those channels. I don't like the
system itself, but
yeah. Well, I go, no, that's what they're against too. They're trying to like also say, hey, there's a lot of holes in these prison systems that need to be fucking fixed.
Yeah, because it's hard. I feel like for some, it's like they're avoiding mines that they don't know where they're at, and they're going to end up there anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an inevitable cycle that just kind of like locks you in, because also the prison system isn't really about like rehabilitation. It's all about, repetitiveness. It's not. They're trying to. Yeah, it's all about money and repeat.
If you notice the biggest times in jail that you can get are usually when you're taking money out of the hands of the government, or in some form not paying them for the money you're making.
Yeah, exactly. Well, case in point, Al Capone. Like, Al Capone fucking murdered tons of people and fucking ran rackets all over Chicago. And, he was responsible for the St. Valentine's Day massacre. They busted him for not paying his taxes. That's what he got in trouble for.
Yeah, not actually hurting people.
So that just shows, it's just like, it's like you can go ahead and murder people. You can run illegal rackets. You can control the people through fear in your own neighborhood. But don't you dare not give us money while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking dare. And it's at this weird point, like ever since I started doing 1099 work, like I got exposed to the way the taxes are kind of worked in these different ways. And I'm like, fuck, like unless you're really keeping track of everything that you're doing as a 1099, like you have to save gas receipts. You have to save everything that's involved in your business in any fucking way. And you have to basically like prove it to the IRS, saying like, hey, this is why it was used and stuff like that. And they'd be like, we'll see.
They added a whole, I feel like, 10 extra pages this year.
Yeah,
than they had last year.
Exactly.
Even through TurboTax. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I did H&R Block, and it was like there was like a bunch of extra steps. But there was also a lot of different tax initiatives that they started during 2020.
They need free tax classes.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. You and Ashley come up with some really good ideas. You said, like, 'cause she's talking about making election day.
Her. I've been following her.
I know, Ashley's
her
great.
Soul. I just feel like she's
Ashley's
just
awesome.
a good
Shout
person.
out to Ashley.
I need
She's
to
the
meet her
shit.
in person and say hi.
Snooch to the nooch.
Hi.
I met Ashley in 8th grade theater class.
Oh,
yeah. We were in like a theater tech class together, and that's how we met. It's because we were both wearing Jay and Silent Bob shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she was wearing a Clerks t-shirt, and I was wearing a shirt that I had that said Snoochie Boochies, and it just had a picture of Jay and Silent Bob on it. And then we were both like, hey, I like your shirt, you know? And so then we just became friends like immediately.
Got a shirt, I got a shirt.
Yeah, and so that was when we were 13 years old.
Oh,
yeah, and then we found out.
Days.
Yeah, exactly, right. And we've been fucking really good friends ever since. Yeah. And I'm glad to watch her grow and stuff. But she came up with that really good idea of, making election day a national holiday.
Yeah, you were talking
and
about
it's like
that.
that's a fucking great idea. And then like your idea about doing tax classes and stuff like that. They need to, and then they just need to do a class like in school that's basically kind of like real life situations. It's like how to properly do a resume, how your credit works, how taxes work, and then just have a whole unit on just simple auto stuff, how to change your oil, how to change a tire, how to replace your brakes, like how to do like simple shit on your car.
I've been teaching my kids this year. I was like, they're like, does this count as school? I'm like, are you learning something? Like this year, since
that's a good question. Did you learn something? Yes, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
My son gets stressed out when he hasn't like turned in enough assignments or done enough. And yeah, I'm like, are you learning right now? Like it doesn't matter how many you get right in a row. It doesn't matter how long it took you.
Mm-hmm. Juno gets frustrated whenever she gets like if she can't like figure something out. Like she just gets like mad at herself. And so we've been Mikey, and we've just been like, because she's just like, because it's almost like she's just like, I know I should know how to do this, but I can't figure it out. Like, and she gets like really frustrated with herself. So one thing that we have to work on is like breathing exercises and like calming herself down. And even just in her last conference, her teacher was like, Juno is so much better at calming herself down. Like she'll stop, take a second, she'll take a couple breaths, and I'm just like, thank you.
That's
Juno.
such a win when your kids, when you can teach what you're learning, like to your kids.
Exactly. And it's all about, talking to them like an adult, and like, not like so much to
their
like
innocence, but yes,
real.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Not to a point where you lose their innocence, but being real with them, and just kind of explaining things, like, and like, like she knows exactly like why she needs to be quiet when daddy's doing the podcast, like, or if she's at home,
My kids are learning. I've had like these meetings every day and been doing like Zoom meetings for a few ladies.
Nice.
And with a few different things. But I'm like, hey, during this time, you guys just got to try to get along. Just try to do your reading, right? Get right next to your, or get next. Yeah. I can't talk.
No, you're cool.
Get on to your next activity.
Right.
Yeah. They're learning. Sometimes my daughter, she's a lover. She's a Cancer. So she likes to be family orientated.
I don't know much about the signs.
I'm learning. There's layers to them. I was like, I'm not.
You're a Cancer?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're big old lovers.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they're very
Very
they need their
emotional,
family too. Family is important for Cancers. So I can tell that like the more I've like kind of got into it for more of a soul purpose, not just like, oh hey, what am I? Let me just see who I should date. That's very one-sided. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I don't know much about it. I've just been told that I'm definitely a Leo through and through. Like that's
my best friend. That's my sister. I call her because she's the mom of my nephews, so we are sisters.
Oh, really?
But,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's my fucking rock.
Hell yeah. When's her birthday?
August 30th.
Oh, okay. I'm August.
July 30th.
Oh, July 30th. Oh,
July
okay.
30th.
I'm August 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my birthday.
Yeah.
And I've just been told like, because I think you even said like Betsy basically like guessed that I was a Leo before you guys even knew my birthday.
Yep. Yeah. She's really good at that.
Yeah. That was like, yeah, shout out to Betsy. That was a good call. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen her do that, I think like 5 times now, and every single time she's correct.
That's fucking crazy.
Because there are just traits that stand out between different signs. But then I've read that you have a moon sign, and then you have this other sign. So you're like,
interesting.
You have like a rising sun sign and a moon sign, and that's like depends on like what time you were born or something like that.
And then there's probably there's
and then there's like the cusps. So if you're like born like on a day where right when it changes into like that sign, you're on a cusp. So I think it's like Cancer and something else. So if I was born on the end of the time Cancer is, I'm also a little mixture of the other sign as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you tend to be more of
The
yeah,
other.
there's like detailed explanations.
Huh.
And the more you dig into it, the more you find something that's kind of like, that kind of is my sole purpose. That kind of is how I react to
That's
things.
interesting. I need to look into that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, actually.
That's crazy.
It sounds like a lot of hooey, but it's like
Have you ever
pretty
taken?
spot on.
My man's
Yeah.
a Aries, and he
Okay.
loves his head massaged. I do it to chill him out, you know.
Nice.
Just little rubs, you know.
I have a
And he
weird
fucking loves
connection
it.
with lions too. That's kind of strange that I am a Leo because also, well,
So
my
is my sister.
my last name is Loeb, and my and it actually stems from the German word for lion. And then going back even further, it was because like my family was
There's so much
originally
cool.
like stemmed with the tribe of Judah. Like, and so like, and their sign was the lion. That's why in like Rastafarian religion, like that's why the lion is a big deal. It's because it was a symbol of Judah. And so like, and then apparently that's actually like as far back as my family goes. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Cause it was like, my last name is actually Jewish. Yeah, it's a Jewish last name. And the people that I worked for at Chocosphere, they were a Jewish couple, and they came up to me and actually asked me one time. They're like, "What are you doing for Hanukkah?" Like, and I
'Cause
was
they
just
knew
like,
that your name
and then
was
they were like, "I was like, I'm not Jewish." They're like, "You're not?" They were like, "Do you
Sure.
realize you have like a really popular Jewish last name? Like, there's a lot of Jews with your last name." I was like, "No shit." And then my New Jersey homegirl, shout out to Priscilla, she told me that there's a Loeb deli like in New York City somewhere that I really fucking want to go to. I want to get like a big picture taken outside of it.
That'd be
And
cool.
Go get myself a fucking Reuben from my deli.
Yeah.
That's what I really want to do. But one thing I was going to say when you're talking about signs and stuff is, you ever taken the Myers-Briggs personality test?
No.
You should take that sometime. It's
Myers-Briggs.
or just this 16 personalities test.
You should just link.
Yeah.
send it,
I'll
and
totally
remember
fucking just
it.
put a link right there, like somewhere in the description. Yeah, and probably actually in the description down below.
I'll
But
check it out.
it's really cool and it's very in depth. I think there's like 140 questions on it,
Yeah.
and you have to be completely objective on it. Like, even if it's something that you hate admitting about yourself, be 100% objective, because if you are, it has these different like 16 personality types, and it gives you like what yours technically is classified as, and it is mine was so accurate, it was scary. Like, it was almost like this person was
does
like,
it have like terms?
yeah, it has like so it has like, everyone has a name. So mine is the protagonist. That was my personality type.
Oh.
And so each one has like a different name. Like, and and then also tells you the percentage of the world like that has your personality type.
I've been told I'm a healer, but I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't think that's the same thing.
I don't know if
think
there's a
that's
term
more-
like, I think that might be more of kind of like an empath thing or something like
Yeah.
that. But this is kind of more of just like an actual like really statistically science driven personality test. And
Shoot.
it's fucking crazy, because also it really tells you like what your careers are best as. Like, and mine ironically was actually as like a motivator and public speaker / politician. A lot of coaches, a lot of people that lead groups of people have my personality type. And so I'm like, that makes sense why I've always been comfortable with speeches, why I've always been like, even Ali says in crazy situations, for some reason, people just look to me. They're like, Joe, what do we do? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, and then, but it's happened on numerous occasions. And I'm like, okay, this actually explains a lot. And then I found out that like apparently less than 2% of the world's population have my personality type. Like, and it has all these different like things, and it's really, check it out. Take it. It's a lot of
I'm
fucking
curious.
fun. I took it
I'm
actually when I
curious.
was I was on like a DHS like TANF program,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it is they try to just help you get like a job that you'll actually really enjoy, and it's not just throw you back into work. They'll just be like, hey, we want to see where you actually fit.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah,
That's
It's called the
awesome.
Jobs Program through
Yeah.
TANF, and TANF is Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. For the
Yeah.
people that don't know, it's in the Oregon DHS system. Basically,
Yeah.
it's welfare.
Yes,
And
state-funded.
yeah, and it's and what's
But I
really
didn't know
they
they
don't
offered that.
yeah,
That's
and it's
awesome.
actually a requirement to be on TANF. You have to participate in it. So it's not like you can just get the money and not do anything. You have to go to classes, and if you don't show up, they cut your benefits. Like, you don't get the money, which is fucking cool.
I've never,
Like,
yeah, I've been on food stamps before.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
me
haven't
too.
Had the
Like-
cash part of it. They are strict with things.
they really are, and I didn't really get much in the first place. Like, they don't really give you a lot at all. Like, I mean, I think the max you get is like $400 for a family of 3.
Yeah.
Like, and so like, I mean, the more kids you have, the more you can get. And so that's why a lot of people will like adopt a shitload of kids and then just get that state assistance and then collect all the money and then just end the benefits. And then that's like a scam that people do, like with the adoption system. It's fucked up. But
yeah, that's a whole nother.
But they'll make you
fucked up.
participate in the jobs program, and they'll make you go to these classes. And that was the first thing they did, was had me take that test. And I was like, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I'm going to recommend this to fucking everybody.
Yeah,
because
I want to take it.
its
I'm
accuracy
curious.
was really cool, and it shows you actually famous people that have your personality type as well.
Yeah,
Like, it shows you it shows you famous people and like fictional characters and like books and shows and stuff like that. Like,
I think
that
I've been
would
following
also...
that same idea, but just like just differently.
No, yeah, it's all the same path. It's all a path of self-identity.
I'm curious
it's all the
if
same
it like
thing.
aligns with everything else.
Check it out, and like I said, just be 100% objective when you take it. It's a lot of fucking fun.
I'm good with being usually brutally honest.
Me
with
too.
Myself.
Me too. 100%. I'm a little too honest with myself. I'm a little too objective
you gotta be
on
forgiving
myself.
and honest.
See,
at the
that's
same
where I
time.
find the balance, is because I always feel like I'm annoying people. I always feel like I'm fucking irritating. I always feel like I'm like a burden. Like, I always feel like I'm bothering people just by even being around. It's kind of something I'm trying to get over, you know? And so, like, it's something that's definitely getting better, but it's a kind of a downfall. It's a little demon I have on my back, but he's kind of getting off a little bit.
They're little voices that tell you things, and they're all lies.
I actually learned I started doing therapy when I was 15 years old. And that's when I took my very first like counseling sessions, and I learned about this thing. It's actually something that's it's something that everybody has, and they call them ants in the therapy world, and it stands for automatic negative thoughts. And it's something that happens. And the way he explained it was really cool. He's like, one ant really doesn't do anything, but if you let one ant call another one and call another one, a whole colony of ants can move a goddamn boulder.
Yeah.
Like, just think about that. And I was like,
yeah.
holy shit, man. I was like, you just fucking squashed all them ants that were in my brain. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you just blew them the fuck out. But it's called automatic negative thoughts. And it's something that happens. And sometimes it's hard to catch them. But, like, you know, if you kind of look at it that way, it can be easier at times because you just accept it. I
think we were raised on like shame and
for
a
sure.
lot of that. So
a lot of us were.
Yeah. So I've learned it was intrusive negative thoughts is same idea.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know, but if you kind of accept that that's kind of the way our brain works sometimes, it kind of can help you combat it a little bit more, you know. And it's like, I mean, otherwise
and the
you're just
energy
gonna
you feed is where
exactly
it will go.
And also it can help you
which
learn
is
from
hard
it.
to learn that.
It can help you learn from it because like whenever it pops back up, you can be like, oh shit, never mind. That's not real what I'm thinking. Like that's dumb, you know. Like you have to kind of recollect yourself and everything.
Yeah.
So since last time you were on the show, I want to transition, kind of start signing off here. Since last time you were on the show, I'd asked you like your first time smoking, but now I'm curious, what's your favorite strain?
I don't know. Cookies and cream.
Cookies and
Gorilla
cream.
Glue.
I remember you said you
Gorilla
like
Glue. I'll say Gorilla Glue because I grew it and I smelt it and I touched it and it was
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's
and
awesome.
And it smoked amazing and
Awesome. Yeah, I got asked that recently and I was like, that's going to be a cool question actually. I should ask people that. What's your favorite strain? What about you, bud?
Still Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah,
always
Girl Scout.
cookies.
Always the Girl Scout cookies.
I usually go for some kind of cookie something too.
Pug's Breath from Quantum is really good. Super tasty.
Fucking
super
Quantum.
stony. Yeah.
Dude, did you get those socks
Are
yet?
those indicas?
No, not yet.
Damn it. They're comfy as shit, man.
I'd only wear them in the winter probably.
It's okay. They're comfy as hell.
Pug's Breath is an indica. And then Girl Scout cookies is like a hybrid. I'd say it's slightly leaning towards the indica side.
Yeah. It's usually labeled some kind of
indica. Pug's Breath is dank from Quantum. Like I've gotten that from you guys a handful of times, and that was like really, really fucking good. Yeah, I like me some good OG Kush.
I usually just, which sucks about COVID, I usually just want to smell it, and if it's a good indica and it smells amazing.
Mm-hmm. Cannabis Nation still has their little fans. They'll waft it your way. Like,
I don't
which
know.
I think
I don't like that really either, though. I'm just like, I don't know about this.
Oh, really? Oh, I just get the nice little weed smell. Like, cause they'll just be like,
oh, it's a fan. It's not like a wolf.
No. It's just like a tiny little, like, just like a little hand fan. Like they're just like, and then they'll just kind of waft it your way. And then it's kind of cool because like they can't put the jars up there. And like sometimes at Khalifa, like they'll kind of like, you know, just kind of like, just go like this a little bit, you know, but you can't like put them up to your nose or anything like that. What do you guys are able to like do?
Little hand fans.
Do you have little hand fans too?
Yeah. Typically, unless they run out of battery. But then we have like a solid piece of paper that's laminated that wafts it at you.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit better than the hand. The hand doesn't seem to actually like get too much of the smell over to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I think that's what they use too, is like a little laminated, like, because I've seen them just kind of like, just kind of brush it, but I've also seen them use like almost looks like a little bookmark, like, and it just kind of like it's like a
Yeah, the
when you could just smell the weed.
wafting.
Yeah, I know, right? Just being able to fucking like that's what when I had
Love the
Lotus, when we had
smells.
Lotus on the podcast and we went to the farm, he had a really good point of like having the days when you could just kind of like get some and just twist it up real quick, smoke it, and be like, yeah, I'll get some of that. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like I miss
Just,
those days.
I'm such a kind of like senses person.
Yeah, me too. Well,
love
as
the
you
smells.
smoke more, you realize how little THC numbers mean, and you start caring more about like like terpenes and like smells and tastes.
I still don't
and-
understand that. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm like a simple. Like to call myself a simple smoker,
Mm-hmm.
simple stoner. I don't know. I've been smoking forever, low key mostly,
Yeah.
but I've been smoking forever, and yeah, I just like what smells good.
Yeah, me too. Like I'm more of like a.
Definitely indica.
I'm more of a sight and smell person.
Yeah.
I actually just did one of my live streams yesterday, and we were talking about THC numbers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because he was asking me, he's like, how much THC is in there, and I was like, this is only like 18%. Not Shelby, but the dude I was showing.
Oh, I thought you meant with the brownie.
No. Yeah, no. The dude I was live streaming with, he asked me how much THC was in there, and I told him it was only 18%. And then we got to talk about terpenes and stuff like that. And I've had some weed that's like 32%, like get me a lot less high than one that was like 15%.
Yeah.
It also depends on the strain and all that kind of shit. I love educating people about that. It makes me happy. Like, I've been in the dispensary sometimes where some guys are like, which one has the highest THC? And I'm like, yo, bro, you should try this one instead. It's like
I
I
do
tried
kind
this
of
and
go for higher stuff, but I also like the fat buds.
yeah, okay, so you
if
like
it's
those.
all together and
Yeah.
it was grown.
I-
It looks like it was grown like
Mhm.
the right
With a lot of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of love
Like,
and a lot
I
of
want
attention.
that.
Yeah. See, I know. I really like pretty buds too. Like, and I remember I was helping on a fucking grow one time and I was trimming. And then I was making mine look all pretty, like I would want to buy and smoke. And then he was just like, he's like, dude, there's fucking crystals on these leaves. Don't fucking cut them. And I was just like, but it's so leafy looking, It was like, it's like, I get that there's crystals on there, but that's what the sugar leaf is for. That's what the trimmings are for. Like, that's you keep that, obviously. I'm not saying get
You
rid
could
of
do
them.
other stuff with it.
We can do other stuff with it, but let's still make these like buds look nice and pretty,
I loved doing that. That
Yeah.
was then growing
Yeah.
weed was
It is,
fun.
yeah. That's what I've never really dabbled it like from start to finish, but I've always really wanted to. So that's one thing. After we get like a house, I want to start
It's
growing.
like a science experiment. If you feed them wrong, they turn colors. They just start dying.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you don't, they like start flourishing.
Mm-hmm. And
They're
also they
stocky.
grow different in these different environments. Like I've had like some growers that play like a certain like genre of music for certain plants. and
Oh
stuff
my
like that,
goodness!
you
Like
know?
love, just giving them love
Yeah,
every day in the
like-
room with all the right.
Yeah.
things.
I talk to my plants every morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, see, and I would too, 100%. Like I would treat it just like Method Man does on How High. Like, and then he really takes care of his plants in there, and he
You
goes,
got
he literally
to.
gets up and he starts kissing the buds, and he's like, he treats it like it's like his freaking partner, And but the grower I was helping, he used to have 92.3 KGON playing in the fucking grow room on nonstop. Like he just had it playing nonstop classic rock, like and that's he was actually telling me, he's like, I've tried classical, I've tried hip hop, I've tried country, I've tried all these different ones. For some reason, they love classic rock. He's like, these plants
That's
and these lights, they
crazy.
just love classic rock. He's like, and then he's like, ever since I started playing KGON, it's been nothing but dank, And he used to grow really good, but his strain of choice was UW. Remember UW?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't smoked UW in a long time. You ever smoked that?
No.
Yeah, it came from
don't think
University
so.
of Washington. That's why
Oh.
it was called UW. Like,
Shit.
yeah, and so, but he actually knew the original like grower with the seeds,
Yeah.
like the one that produced UW, and so he got the seeds from him, and he'd been growing UW forever, and so,
I never figured out seeding and
Yeah.
knowing if they're male or female. That was like.
yeah. See, I need to learn all that
So
stuff.
you can't figure that out by the seed. It's a process. You got to germinate the seeds. You do
Let
that by
'em
putting it
grow.
like in a wet paper towel, or you can just put it in like a cup with a little bit of water in a dark little area. Once it starts growing the root, then you're going to want to put it in your soil. And then once it grows enough for you to cut a clone from it, you take that clone and you put it into, I think it's like 12 hours of darkness and 12 hours of daylight
Yeah.
to make it flower. And
To
then
see.
you will see if it's a male or a female. And if it's a male, you got to go to the original plant and get rid of it very fast.
Before
so you
it
don't screw anyone else's grow up.
seeds,
Yeah, because
yeah.
the pollen flies everywhere.
See, that just scares me.
That's so
I
crazy.
got to the point of growing them, and then I was like, I don't know if I even want to put these in the room. I don't know what I want to do with these because I already had like
That's awesome.
stuff going. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. I don't know how to tell.
I can't wait to fucking grow. Like, I really want to do that because one of my dreams for this podcast is to develop a hippie speedball podcast strain. Like
It's
a
fun.
hippie speedball strain and make it a perfect blend of indica and sativa and make it my favorite ones. Like I want to get like Durban Poison and then another sativa dominant hybrid, maybe like Pineapple Express. And then I want to get OG Kush and Hindu Kush. I want to take all of those and combine all four of those.
in your soil or something too.
Dude, right? What's that?
Like ground up coffee beans in your soil or something too.
Ooh, I don't know.
No, so I don't know if you would
You
do
can't
that,
do that
for
for weed?
weed. You possibly could, because I'm assuming most plants take
That
the
might
same
kill
plant
it.
food. But I'm starting a garden right now for like
Yeah.
lettuce and a bunch of other things, and grinding up coffee grounds is actually really good for it.
Yeah, I
For
know
your
it's good for
garden.
gardens.
Yeah.
Garden,
but I
so
don't
I don't
know
know if it
about-
would be the same.
That's why I'm curious because you do coffee and weeds.
Well,
So
is
I was
it
just
good
like,
for tomatoes? You
shit.
think? Because they grow similar.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm putting tomatoes in the garden.
Well, I guess we'll
so,
see,
yeah.
and we'll try it out. And then,
Yeah.
could you imagine that? Like, that's a great idea.
I don't know.
That's
I
fucking
was like,
awesome.
mix your
Yeah.
brand up in there.
Hell
Make
yeah.
your own stuff.
And it's like actually grown with coffee grounds.
I used worm castings.
That'd be such
grow.
a unique thing too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just call the strain Hippie Speedball or
Yeah.
just HSP, Hippie Speedball Podcast. You know,
Watch it. Here you go.
Yeah, boom. And I got a connection for some actual like true authentic Durban seeds too. So I got at least a jumping off point. If I can get some good Hindu Kush, OG Kush, and some Pineapple Express, and then just combine all four of those strains to make the Hippie Speedball Podcast strain. Trademark to the Hippie Speedball Podcast.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, we should go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for coming back. This was a lot of
Yeah.
fucking fun talking edibles and business and stuff. So, and thank you
Yeah.
everybody for tuning into the Hippie Speedball Podcast. It is Joe, your host with the most, Joe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.